Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McCrae here. As the title suggests, we're going to talk about Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. Debbie Reynolds just literally passed away, I think, within the last couple of hours here. It's December the 28th, 2016, 10:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, Carrie Fisher died yesterday. But I want to give you some perspective. That's the point of this video. I need to sort of vent because I think when people gain perspective, they gain objectivity. And when you gain objectivity and perspective together, you can know what to expect. Not that we're going to go through our lives knowing what to expect every waking minute of every waking day. That's unhealthy, unrealistic, and not practical. But I think there are certain events that happen in the world or in your own personal life that you can gain a little bit of perspective on, and it helps you see things a little more clearly, maybe for what they really are, for what really is going on. And how I sort of began to think about this was I see a lot of people on social media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter, what have you, blaming 2016 for the deaths of so many well-known entertainers, sports figures, actors, actresses, singers, whatever the case is. And I agree with you. 2016 saw a lot of well-known people pass away. Absolutely, unequivocally. That's not up for debate. And I understand why people are saying, fuck you, 2016, not another one, 2016, screw you, 2016, only 3 more days left, come on. Well, for all of you who think 2017 is going to be better, I have a little perspective for you. Yes, it could be. I'm not saying that 2017 is not going to be better. I have no evidence to suggest that it's not. But this could continue to keep going. I mean, these sudden passings of well-known people that we grew up with is probably going to continue to happen. Because there's a little thing called time that is happening right before your very eyes that I think people sometimes forget. And I'll give you an example. I had an acquaintance of mine a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, in and around the time that Zsa Zsa Gabor died. And she was 99 years old, right? Zsa Zsa Gabor. And he turned to me and he said, "Did you hear that Zsa Zsa Gabor died?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, Zsa Zsa Gabor, it was Zsa Zsa Gabor, He's like, "Yeah, man, gone too soon, man, gone too soon. Fuck 2016. And I nearly fell off my chair. I'm like, gone too soon? What do you mean gone too soon? She was like 100 years old. Gone too soon. And I see this all the time. Not with everybody. Not everybody is saying that with everybody, but I see it a lot. And then it dawned on me what they really mean when they say gone too soon is they're saying, holy fucking shit. You mean to tell me that all those people that I grew up with, listening to on the radio, watching on the TV, watching in the movies, living vicariously through their characters, they're 25 years older now too? You mean they're human? Yeah. It's not 1987. It's not 1977. It's nearly 2017. Everybody is getting older. And it's scary because we lost so many well-known people that we grew up with this past year, but we sometimes forget that, hey, Harrison Ford, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Sean Connery, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're all 70 and above. Now, I'm not saying they're going to kick the bucket next year. All of those guys could live till they're 98. But I'm just saying that we're sort of in that time now where a lot of these legends that we grew up with, whether it's in the sports industry, the entertainment industry, the music industry, a lot of people are getting older now. And I realize that I'm not going into 2017 thinking that this isn't going to happen. I realize that, for example, Harrison Ford is my favorite actor. I'm not saying he's the best actor, he's not, but he's my favorite actor. I grew up with him. The day that he dies, I'm going to feel like a piece of me was taken as well, right? Like you all will with certain other people. But it's going to happen. And it's going to happen sooner rather than later because he's 74 years old. It's just perspective to go, wow, we're all getting older. I'm not 18 anymore. I'll be 38 next May. I'm nearly 40 for God's sakes. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, all those things I want to do, or all those things I've wanted to do, or if I can do it, if I can financially do it, or feasibly do it, or practically do it, maybe I should think about doing it. Now, Carrie Fisher, she passed away yesterday. And the perspective is with Carrie Fisher, I sort of knew that she wasn't going to make it. Now, I had no evidence of that, but I had perspective, and I was looking at things, and I thought, you know what? Here's the story, okay? Now, I was at the Eaton Centre in downtown Toronto, which is a large shopping mall, the busiest in the city because it's right in the downtown core. And of course, I was down there on the 23rd of December, which is the busiest shopping day of the year, at least here in Canada it is. And I think Black Friday is the busiest for you guys in the States. And and there I was, like, hundreds of thousands of people downtown and, all this stuff. And my girlfriend goes to the bathroom and I'm checking on my, on my phone, and I realize, oh my God, Carrie Fisher's had a heart attack and she's been taken to the hospital. Now, the information that everybody got over the next 3 or 4 days, and still to this day, we haven't really received any new information, as far as I know, at least at the posting of this video, is that she had a heart attack 15 minutes before she landed, and then it took paramedics another 15 minutes to even get a heartbeat. So if that is true, if nobody's exaggerating and that is true, then Carrie Fisher was without oxygen, give or take a minute or two, for 30 minutes. And I thought, holy shit. So I'm like, that cannot possibly be good. So I looked up online, ballparking it, sort of when does basically how long can a body go without oxygen before there's any sort of repercussions for that? 4 to 6 minutes. After 4 to 6 minutes without oxygen, now, brain cells begin to die after 1 minute, but irreversible brain damage and damage to other vital organs begins to set in after the 4 to 6 minute mark. Carrie Fisher was unconscious without oxygen for 30 minutes. I knew that she wasn't going to make it, especially with how silent everybody was. Now, you might conjure it up as well, it's just privacy. No, it was, she's out of the ICU, she's stabilized. I think a lot of people took the word stabilized in, she's on the road to recovery. No, I don't think that's what it meant. I think it meant that she's not getting any worse, but she's not necessarily getting any better. She's stabilized. It's stable. She was on a ventilator, some reports reported, and I think she was brain dead. And I think the reason why we didn't hear about it until yesterday morning was because they knew that she was brain dead. The doctors came out and said, listen, I'm sorry, but that, but she was being kept alive on a ventilator because they wanted to have one last Christmas with her, which I believe they did there at the hospital. And in that time, they were also contacting Disney, Lucasfilm, canceling the remaining dates of her book tour, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, on the 27th, they took her off life support because I think she was brain dead. She never regained consciousness again. And so when I heard that she died yesterday morning, I was like, because, hey, I'm a Star Wars fan, right? But it didn't surprise me. I thought, yeah, that sounds about right if you're without oxygen for 30 minutes. I mean, that's insane. I would love to know what the percentage is of people who have been essentially dead for 30 minutes and have come back to tell about it. And even if she had come back, what kind of damage would there have been? I'm not surprised. Debbie Reynolds today. It is surprising that she passed away, yes, because it's one day after Carrie Fisher. But again, here's some perspective. If Debbie Reynolds had passed away 4 years from now, when she's 88, everybody would go, oh, that really sucks. Oh, that's too bad, But nobody would be freaking out about it, right? So the perspective isn't the fact that Debbie Reynolds necessarily passed away. It's the fact that she passed away one day after Carrie Fisher. And that is, in and of itself, horrific and horrible and sad. But at the same time, she was 84 years old. She's 84. She had a stroke. Now, some people might conjure up, oh, she wanted to be with Carrie because apparently her last words, her dying words were, I want to be with Carrie. And then she had the stroke. Well, that sounds very romantic and poetic, and it might make a great ending to a movie of the week. But, I mean, she probably was in not ill health, but she probably had the stroke because her arteries were clogged. And maybe the stress of losing her daughter, especially before her, and the stress everything's going through it's not great for an 84-year-old woman, right? But do I think it was the stroke in and of itself? Some sort of divine intervention that, no, I don't believe that because there's no evidence of that. So I think we need a little perspective, and that's all I'm saying. And the point of this rant is that this is more than likely going to continue. I'm not saying I want it to continue, and I'm not saying that it definitely is for 2017. But folks, we all need to look in the mirror, and we all need to look at ourselves and be like, shit, fuck, we're all getting older here. All those actors and actresses and singers and performers and dancers and news anchors and athletes and hockey players and baseball players and football players and basketball players and all these people that we grew up with and loved are getting older. The Spielbergs, the Lucases, the Scorseses, they're all getting older. It's not 2016. It's a little thing called time. And it sucks. It fucking sucks. And I know it sucks. I lost my own parents in 2011. I lost my mom to cancer in July, and then I lost my dad to a massive heart attack that October, only 2.5 months apart from each other. They were not married. They hadn't been together in 30 years. But they remained close because, of course, they had 4 kids. And that was a tough year. And they were young. My mom was 67. My dad was 69. And it sucked. It sucked. Absolutely sucked. I didn't necessarily blame the year. I blamed that my dad was diabetic and he wasn't taking his medication properly and he was a little overweight. And he was 69. Now, still young, and still in the sense, for all intents and purposes, he was still young. And he should have, for all intents and purposes, lived another 15 years, let's say. But he was 69 years old. And that helped me. It was like, and it helped me to look at myself and be like, fuck, man, I'll be 38 next May. I'm nearly 40. Just a little perspective for all you guys out there. It sucks shit that we're losing all these people, but it's not because it's 2016. It's because it's 2016, if you know what I mean. Comment below and let me know your thoughts on this crazy year that it's been. Take care.